What's poppin', y'all? My name's Lacey. Welcome back to Laced Up, your girl's favorite sports podcast talking all things Texas Longhorns. I'm really excited for today's episode, y'all, because we have a very special guest. My very first interview. This kid is one of my personal favorites of the class, just with his ability and his aggressiveness, his intent. I'm really, really high on this guy, and I'm really excited to be able to sit down and talk with him. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm super excited about this week's episode, y'all, because we have a very special guest, 4-star edge prospect out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Danny Okoye is joining us today, so let's go ahead and get him on. Hey, Danny, how you doing?
What's up? What's good?
Everything good?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Had a good last few weeks, so yeah, things have been great.
Yeah, you just kind of started hitting the recruiting trail. Texas was your first visit, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, how'd that go? How did you enjoy Texas? What was the first vibe? How did it go?
Since it was an official visit, it was really flashy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was it's a really nice place to be, you know, especially just hanging out with all the staff, seeing how they do things up there. Well, I guess down there. And just hanging out. The players were cool. You know, I had like a player host for the weekend.
Yeah, who was your host?
David Benda.
David Benda, how was that? I know he's been doing really well in spring and really up in his game, doing well on the development side of it. So how was that?
It was really nice. Just, you know, having someone who like was aware I was trying to be like and playing in college and like having the pointers that he gave me and stuff. But just little things that I could do and implement right now just to up my game and stuff. And it was cool getting that free game.
So is that something that you've been really focusing on throughout the recruiting process, is really kind of learning different players from the program and building the relationships with them as well?
Yeah, that's really what I want to do. That's the main focus, you know, just finding a place where I can fit, where the vibe is correct, and people I can see myself getting along with for, 4 years. There's a lot more to it than just, going to the biggest school with, X amount of trophies or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So that's really cool to hear, though, that the relationship aspect is really important to you. We had a question in our little Q&A that somebody wanted to know what your relationship with PK is like. How did that relationship start? How's that going?
I mean, ever since I got the offer from Texas, Coach PK has been in, constant connection with me. We really just grown a bond over that time. He's always checking in on me, just seeing like how I'm doing and stuff. They send me a crap ton of mail too. I definitely feel the love there.
So you're like, dang, y'all don't even use email?
Man, for real.
Like y'all gotta go snail mail now? Like, what are we doing?
Hey, I can appreciate it though. But yeah, it's Coach PK, Coach Bo, Coach Jock, all them guys, I really mess with them heavy.
That's great. That's really cool though, because I know that, that's something that we've failed at a lot at Texas previously in the recruiting process, is really making sure we build those relationships and everything. So it's really nice as a Texas fan to hear that they're working really hard on building relationships and maintaining those connections and everything. So
right.
One of my favorite personal things whenever I was looking at your film is your intensity, your aggressiveness. Where does that come from? Because you seem like a pretty nice guy. So like because you hit with malice. You are angry on that field. So where does all that intensity come from?
I really don't know. I like being a little savage, I like being the bad guy,
You like being the villain, the aggressive. Hey, I do say if you like being the villain, Texas is a great place to go. We are a big villain. Everywhere we go, nobody likes Texas. So it fits the mold.
A little gremlin sometimes. But it's not all the time. It's usually, like I say, once the helmet comes on, I'm a different guy.
Mm-hmm.
that's how you have to be in this game. So
Absolutely. You got to get in that mental state, that hype. What do you use to get hype? Like in the locker room and everything. What are some jams? What are some vibes? Like what are some of the things that you do as a player of your caliber, as a recruit, as a prospect? What are things that you do like before games that help you get mentally prepared and mentally ready for that kind of stuff?
I do a thing called focus meditation. It's not like meditation, but it's like a breathing technique that helps you like focus on what you're thinking about. And then I listen to my little baby, my NBA young boy, Derek, all of them. I like West Coast rap too, so like Nipsey Hussle and all of them. I like that's my jams, but I really just trying to focus on what I need to do. It's not like it's like it's just a job again, do your job and enjoy the game and hopefully you win. So
yeah,
what you can do.
That's cool.
How am I doing so far?
You're doing pretty good. How am I doing? This is my first interview. How am I doing? Good. I'm a little nervous. I'm like shaking. I'm like sitting here like, oh.
Guess who my favorite football player is?
Guess who your favorite football player is?
Yeah.
Hold up. If I had to guess.
Just look at my screen.
I can't see. Is that Matt Forte?
Yeah.
Really? That's okay. I see it from the intensity standpoint. I see it. My dad's a big Bears fan, so that's really cool. Matt Forte wasn't a dude to mess with in Chicago.
No, that's wrong.
Then he went to the Jets and kind of did whatever. But
I'm originally from Chicago, so that's.
So are you a big Bears fan?
No, but I will.
No.
I will support a dude who's also from Chicago.
Support the hometown a little bit.
Yeah.
So who are you a fan of? Who is your NFL team? Because that was one of the questions too. So who is your NFL team?
I'm a big Raiders and Eagles fan. So.
I'm a Cowboys fan. So sorry.
It's never the Dallas Cowboys year. Y'all need a new QB.
You know what? We could sit down. We need a QB.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
That dude has not done anything.
I think it has more to do with the supporting cast and Jerry Jones than it does Dak Prescott, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
My dad, that's one thing that my dad has always said since I was a kid, because I'm a Cowboys fan. Obviously, my dad's a Bears fan. He's from Chicago. He's from the Chicagoland area.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up a Cowboys fan, and that was one thing that my dad always said ever since I was a kid, is that the Cowboys will never do anything as long as Jerry Jones is the owner and the GM. And it's been true thus far, so why doubt it now?
True.
Surprise, shouty. Surprise, y'all. I have opened up my very own merch store. Laced Up X Podcast meet Laced Up X Apparel. All designs 100% custom made by me. Available on t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, journals, pretty much anything you can think of. Just follow the link in the description to my Etsy shop and go and show your love and support. And I can't wait to see you guys in all these new items. Thank you guys so much for how much love you guys constantly show me. And I'm so excited to bring these out for you guys.
So I see you're also going on a space later on today, and you're doing a live tonight too, right?
I think the live is tomorrow night.
Oh, the live got switched to tomorrow?
Yeah, I've been busy being stranded.
Oh, I'm sure. And I'm sure that puts a lot of stress on everything too, especially when you have stuff planned like this.
Right. Like
we were saying earlier, you're just now really fully engulfing yourself in the recruiting area, recruiting cycle. You're just now really hitting the ground running. So it's only going to get crazier. True. And especially once your senior season and stuff hits, it's just going to get even crazier. Is that something that you plan on doing? Do you have a commitment date yet?
I'm thinking September to October.
September, October. So you're wanting to wait until after the season starts and everything?
I want to at least see what these people talking about for a couple weeks, and then
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll be like, all right, I'll see how y'all play.
So you actually want to kind of see it on the field as well as not just what's happening
Exactly.
on the visits behind closed doors when they are just sitting there sunshine pumping and making everything look and seem all hunky-dory. And
I went to OU last season,
mm-hmm.
and they were like, oh, we gonna do this, blah 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 blah, and then you saw the season they had, and so
49-0.
And then so this season I'm definitely gonna be sitting down and I'm gonna be like, all right, let's see how y'all play.
Hey, but that's good though. That's good. That's a good thing to do because I know a lot of people really want and push for that early signing day, that early recruitment, that early commit. And it makes sense as like a fan. I want to see my team getting all these recruits. I want to see all the good guys coming to us and everything like that. But it makes a lot of sense as a player to want to sit down and see what they actually are able to put on the field. And I know that's one thing that a lot of Texas fans are struggling with is that, we've seen a lot of progress with Sark and we've seen a lot of development and upside with what he's building and with what he's doing, but we have to see it on the field. So Texas fans are right there with you in general. We get it. So we got to talking football automatically. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you said you grew up in Chicago, when did you move to Oklahoma and how did all that happen? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, I was born in Chicago, and then I've been in Oklahoma back and forth because I have a lot of family down here.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up playing football. Well, not really playing football, just doing football, not really as like focusing on it. I was more in the martial arts side. I started MMA when I was like 13. So that was what I was really trying to do. And then eventually I just went into started focusing more on football because I was playing it in, middle school at public schools and I wasn't really liking it. And then freshman year I was at Jinx and I was playing football and then COVID happened. And so with that, everybody started doing distance learning. And so my mom was like, well, if you're going to do distance learning, you might as well just go homeschool. So we went homeschool because they were still playing football. So I didn't get that one. I didn't get that year. So then sophomore year, I started playing with this homeschool team, and then I just started running with it.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't even really start playing until middle school?
I didn't really start actually playing because I was like, I'd skip a couple.
Like you played, but you didn't play.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's crazy though, because a lot of kids start super, super young, and a lot of kids are getting offers by middle school. So that's an amazing feat to be as well along as you are in your game for only really taking it serious until middle school. That's great. Okay, so let's see the questions that we got up here. I think I got it this time. Can you see it? There we go. Let's get this Q&A started real quick. So we had just IT. Well, that's my friend TJ. I just don't know how to say his @name. But it's TJ, just ITJ. Asked, how many times do you plan on coming to Austin before your commitment? And what's your cheat meal?
I'm probably going to come back for a game day. So probably like during the season. And then I'm not going to run it out too long. So it's probably going to be like maybe September. Maybe I'll go to like a game in September because I know they have a home game during September.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go that one. So
You planning on going to Texas OU?
maybe.
Maybe, possibly. We'll see.
Many people off.
Huh?
I don't want to piss too many people off.
But we're both in the recruitment, so you don't have to go to each side. Like you don't have to make a distinction to each side, but we know. It's okay. We know.
Gotcha.
TJ also asked what your cheat meal is. Do you have a cheat meal? Do you have like a regiment that you're on?
No. I just eat, bro. Like I just eat and work out.
You just eat whatever you want?
Not whatever I want, my cheat meal is probably like fried chicken or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too crazy with it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next question. And if we've already answered it, then okay. So this one is one that I'm not 100% sure if you're going to be fully comfortable with answering, but we had a question come in that's which coach at which university have you developed the best relationship with, and what makes that relationship so special? If you don't want to name the exact coach, that's cool. But what about, I know we've talked a little bit about relationships and how important they are. So what coaches do you feel like you've really built the best relationships with, in your opinion?
I would just say, I'm gonna just say all these coaches from all these different schools have always been awesome. Like I've never the schools that are in my top 10, they're in my top 10 because I like the program. I don't just like the name of the program. So, schools that weren't recruiting me as hard as these schools were, they were out of there. And, the visits that I've taken, I went to those schools for a reason. So there's a reason I haven't been, working.
Do you plan on making any other official visits?
The visits that I've been to in the past, let's just say in June and July, those are probably going to be my top 5.
Those are probably your top 5. Okay. So that's good to know. We're narrowing it down.
Probably. I'm not going to say for sure.
Not for sure. That's okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to say Coach PK, Coach Jock from Texas, from OU, Coach Chavis, Coach Bates, Venables, from Tennessee, Coach Eck, Coach Chop, Coach Block, from Alabama, Coach Hutzler, and Saban, and from where else? LSU, Coach Chansing, Coach Ferreira, all of them. Like
just everybody.
I'm just naming all of them off. Just they're all cool people.
Just everybody. Everybody's dope.
Yeah.
Everybody's a great person. We love that.
I'm not saying there's one more than another, but
I'm sure you have your own real opinions, but there's only so much you can actually say, which is fine. We get it. So let's move on to the next question. Let's get this back up. Hold up. How do I do this? I'm telling you, I don't know how to do this. There we go. Okay, well is Texas the move?
Maybe, I don't know.
It could be. We don't know yet. We'll find out September, October.
Something like that.
Something like that. Okay, so we got a question here from Young Flight 15. He asked, as a fellow Tulsan and Texas fan, if you could choose to play at Union, Bixby, or Jinx, who would you choose? You did play at Jinx, didn't you?
Yeah.
So is obviously that the answer?
I don't know. Union is really tough now. So if I'm going back this season, I would have probably picked Union. Jinx, if I could have gone back and played with their 23 and 22 class, that probably would have been the move. But their 23 and 22 class is only going down, so Jinx is not what it once was.
Yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of your high school and everything, one of my curiosities, I never knew that homeschool football leagues existed. So can you go into a little bit more information about that? Because I know that a lot of people had questions in regards to that.
I didn't know that homeschool football existed before 2019. So I'm fairly new to it as well.
Yeah.
But from what I can explain, there's different homeschool teams around the country. There's one here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There's one in Oklahoma City. There's some in Missouri. There's some in Kansas, Texas. There's a bunch in Texas, actually. And so all these teams, they play regular schools. Like we play 2A, 3A schools during like the first half of our season. Like we play with state championship contenders and stuff during our first half of the season. And then the second half of the season, we play strictly homeschool teams. So we travel to Texas and play them, or they travel from Missouri and play us. There's this team from Kansas that there's always a big rivalry match, and then those homeschool teams all would go and do their own thing. And then we have a national championship, which is of all the homeschool teams in the nation. And then we all travel down to Florida, and that's our national championship, because we can't have like a state championship.
Okay, so that's cool. So it's multiple little there are multiple smaller leagues that all come together and play like the national. Okay, that's pretty interesting.
I like low-key like tournament style. It's like battle royale of the homeschool.
Is it like single elimination, like one and done, just all out blitz, let's go?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, actually, though. That's actually pretty cool. So there was the only other homeschool, I think, I could be even mistaken, was Tim Tebow. Mm-hmm. So how do you feel about there not being a big representation of homeschool kids in the league or in college football? Like, what does that mean to you?
I'm gonna be the first to do it. It's the first time for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why can't it be me?
Yeah, exactly. So you're just using it to your advantage?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, it's brand new for me.
Okay. Let's move on to the next question.
For sure.
So I know we talked about your favorite NFL teams and everything, but who do you watch on film the most? Like, do you idolize somebody at your specific position, or do you just like players?
I like mentality more than position.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Matt Forte's right there. So mentality over position. That's why I like George Pickens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like George Pickens. I like DK Metcalf. I like Marshawn. My all-time favorite though.
Marshawn Lynch is a funny dude. That dude cracks me up.
He's a dog though. So it's different people. I like, I do like people from Myles Garrett. I like Michael Parsons. I like Aaron Donald, Max Crosby. I like all those D linemen, defensive guys, but George Pickens and DK Metcalf, they just dogs, and I like dogs.
Just a little different.
Yeah, I like dogs when they're like athletes.
Yeah. Well, you can tell that in your play too. Like, if anybody that watches your film can tell that you prefer a more physical, like, I'm gonna kick your ass type of style of play. Like, that's the type of play that you like. It's very evident in the way that you play and how aggressive you play. So anybody watching can make that conclusion. Okay, so this question is pretty interesting. This is like a 3-part question, so I'm going to put this one up, make sure that we get this one up on here. So this question is kind of a 3-parter, so I'll ask it in sections. So how do you see your game transitioning from the homeschool league to the SEC or the Big 12 or the ACC or somewhere like that? What do you think some of the challenges will be in that regard? Because I know you played in high school, but you've really gotten a lot of your recognition and everything from what you've done at NOAA. So how do you think that the transition will be for you, and what do you think the biggest challenges are going to be for you?
I'm going to just say this. When I was at Jinx and I was a freshman, I was called up to varsity and I ended up starting. So I play at a smaller league now. The competition is going to be a lot different, yes, but I'm going to get a lot better too. So it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, because I'm stronger than a lot of 6'8" guys. I'm faster than a lot of 6'8" guys. I move better than a lot of 6'8" guys. I've trained with 6'8" guys, and I'm usually better than they are. So, I mean, say this, all these recruitment websites and these high school followers, there's a reason they have me as number 1 in the state.
Mm-hmm.
So if a number 1 in the state can't do what he does just because he's going against bigger people, and if I fall off, I fall off.
Then he shouldn't be number 1 in the state.
Exactly.
Hey, that's a good mentality. It lets me know that you're in it to work, you're in it to get better and just be the best that you can be, and that's all that anybody could ever ask for. So that's amazing. That's a really great mentality to have.
College is meant to develop you as a player and as a student. So I'm not gonna go in there and be the best, but I can go in there and become the best. So
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely. So playing in a traditional high school league and the homeschool league, do you feel like that a player that goes to a traditional high school in a traditional high school league has more of an advantage, or do you feel like you're more underrated because you went to a homeschool or because you're in a homeschool league?
well, I definitely am. That's definitely true. Underrated because you're a homeschooler. People always think of homeschool athletes as like people who have been homeschooled their entire lives. Like I homeschooled for like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who have been in regular school for most of their lives, and they're athletic and they're playmakers. And maybe they move to a place where public school isn't such a good option, so they go online, and then they're homeschoolers now, but they're still athletes. So we have a lot of those type of people. Like we had a lot of Jinx athletes last year in my homeschool team. So people who they're athletes, but maybe they're not getting the playing time that they want. And there's a lot of daddy ball going on in 6A and 5A football. So maybe they don't want a part of that. So they'll come to NOLA and they'll be studs. And some of them might not get as many looks, but the ones who do, it's obvious that they're actually playmakers. I might be a little underrated just because of where I play at, but if you make up for it with how you play, it don't really matter.
That's a great mentality to have, to be able to sit and say, I may be underrated, but I'm still gonna go out there and play how I play. And it is what it is. Because I would say that you're underrated nationally, obviously. Like I would definitely say that you're underrated in my opinion, but I also don't get paid to evaluate talent. So there's that.
I'm gonna just put me against your guy, and I'm gonna give him a run for his money.
So one thing that got questioned a couple times is negative recruiting. Have you noticed any sort of negative recruiting on the recruiting trail from any schools or anything, like teams talking about each other or rivalries coming out or anything like that?
I mean, not really. A player might slip something in there when we're just talking, but not really.
But it's not actually coming from like coaches or anything.
No, coaches usually have like a mutual respect for each other. Yeah.
Well, that's what I always thought too. That's what makes sense to me. But then you get questions like that, and there are people that believe that does happen behind the scenes. And I mean, as players and everything, that's going to happen. You have your rivalries because players are fans too. That's like, y'all are fans of the game. Y'all enjoy the game just like we do. Y'all just get the opportunity to play it, and y'all have the athletic ability to actually be able to get down there and do it. So it just makes it a little bit different.
Yeah, but most of the coaches I met have been cool. I really haven't noticed that happen, except if I'm just like joking around with somebody.
Yeah, just like joking around with the actual players and stuff. Well, that's good. That's good to know that, coaches aren't actually spiting each other like that.
A lot of them
that would suck.
Working with each other, so I'm sure like anything that they do say is just with jokes. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. So whenever you get to college, do you see yourself being more of that like outside linebacker dropping in coverage, or do you see more hand in the dirt, I'm coming after you?
Well, I just know I'm going to be rushing the passer. So if that means rushing the passer as an edge or rushing the passer as an outside linebacker, it is what it is.
Just wherever they put you?
Wherever they put me, I'm going to work my butt off and I'm going to get that. So.
And like I said, that's all that we can ask for as fans, as a coaching staff. That's all that anybody could ever ask for of a recruit, is just to be like, hey, I'm coming in, I'm working. That's all I can do.
I was saying Texas wants me as a jack. Or versatile positions. So, I'm just going to do what it do. That's all I can.
Yeah. Does that sound like something that you would like to do, is be put in that position to kind of just do whatever and be all over the field like that?
Definitely. That's how You're gonna see.
So how do those approaches work? Like whenever they sit down with you and start talking schemes, start talking your role and everything, do they just kind of sit and tell you like, hey, this is where we're thinking of putting you? Or do they actually sit and have a conversation with you about like, okay, so where do you feel like you could benefit us the most? Like, where do you feel like you would be able to really shine?
Well, they usually do that sort of analyzation by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Have whole teams that are specifically like their duty is to like go through all my film and be exactly what I'm good at and exactly what I'm bad at, and then they use that and they analyze it and they decide what would be the best fit for me as a player and them as a team.
Mm-hmm. And then it's up to you to decide whether or not you agree with their evaluation and how that goes or not.
Exactly. Well, most of the time they're right. I can't really argue with them. They say, you false stepped and you shot this arm instead. And when you came off here, you're supposed to be a little lower. And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess. And then,
Well, yeah.
So it happens where like, they'll be like, hey, we want you to do this. And I'm like, well, I don't really know how to do that. And they'll be like, oh, that's fine. We'll teach you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bet.
Yeah. So you feel like that a lot of these programs truly are setting you up to put yourself in a good position.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's exactly what you're looking for whenever you're from a player's perspective. I played competitive sports, not like y'all, but I played competitive sports whenever I was a kid, and that was one thing that was super important, was the relationship with the coaches and understanding why they're doing what they're doing.
Right.
And that's super important, and it's really good that y'all are able to sit down and have those conversations prior to you even getting on campus, so you know fully what to expect whenever you get there.
Right.
So someone asked, did you watch the 49-0 game? I know we talked earlier about it, but what'd you think?
I watched it with my friends, and it was kind of weird to be, because we were like at like a diner, and I was watching it, and I was like, Texas fans over there getting crazy, OU fans over there getting mad, and I was like, we should probably go before this gets bad. It was.
Okay, I'll be the first to admit, I projected us beating Oklahoma. I said that we were going to beat OU before any of that even happened. I was not expecting that. I don't think anybody was expecting that. So I just had to ask because somebody else asked, and it's just a funny little tidbit.
Yeah, it was surprising for sure.
It was a whole lot of something to a whole lot of nothing is what it was. That was a wild game, a very crazy circumstance situation for everybody involved.
I highly doubt it will happen again though.
Oh no, I agree. Obviously I have my own opinions as a Texas fan. Like, I'm drinking burnt orange Kool-Aid. I'm all up in that. So I have my own opinions, but I'm definitely going to be making a joke whenever they score, like, hey, you finally scored in over a year. Let's go. Let's go. I have to make jokes like that.
Right.
So this is the last question, and this is one that I really like this question because it really, one of my things and one of the reasons why I want to talk to recruits on this podcast is because I really want to show exactly what I said to you. I want to show Longhorn Nation who you are, how you are, the type of person that you are on top of all the football stuff. So the question that I want to end it on is this one, and it's, let me pull it up here. Who is the most influential person in your pursuit of football? So who was the person that really supported you, that really influenced you to have this dream of playing football in college and going beyond?
Myself. I'm my biggest motivator.
Yeah. Hey, that's good though.
It's really just me. Like, my mom, she's big on like doing your own thing, do what's best for you type of mentality. So she's always like, hey, if this is what you want to do it chin up, chest out. You feel me? So that's just what I've been doing.
So she seems to have had just a lot of faith in you and how she's raised you anyways, to be able to make this type of decision and just come to her and be like, hey, I think this is what I want to do, just
and
for her to support you.
Exactly. That's exactly how it is. And people don't really get it because they're like, why do you go on all your visits by yourself? And they're like, well, why aren't you going with your family? My mom, she's just like, hey, it's your life, you know, you're gonna do what's just best for you, and I'm gonna just be there to support it. And that's kind of how I like it, because, you know, I'm an isolated thinker. I don't really let people in my head too much. So it works best for me because I can really just go to these people, talk to these people, and just absorb and analyze, and then eventually come to a conclusion.
Well, I'm sure it also makes it easier for you too to be able to sort out your own thoughts and not have to worry about appeasing anybody else and pleasing anybody else and making anybody else happy. So I'm sure that makes the process easier for you as well.
Most definitely. Do you have any questions?
I mean, I've kind of just gone through and had my own questions as we were integrating. Like, as we were going from question to question, I would kind of ask my own questions. So I don't really have any off the top of my head. But, like, if you have anything else you want to say, if you have anybody you want to shout out, if you have anybody you want to tag, anything, go ahead and do that now. You're more than welcome to go ahead and make your shout outs and do whatever you want.
Follow me on Instagram at dphantom with a 4. Follow my Twitter at it's Daniel Okoye, and just run me up on all these recruitment platforms and stuff.
Okay, sounds good. I'll make sure to edit all of your Instagram and Twitter handles and everything onto the feed, so everything will be available for everybody. It'll be in the description as well. So everybody go and make sure that you show Danny some love and show Danny how Longhorn Nation shows out, because I know y'all can do it. So thank you so much, Danny. I really appreciate you coming on. It's been great sitting here talking to you, get to know you a little bit. Hope to see you in Austin soon. Hope to see you in that burnt orange on the field. Hopefully we'll be able to sit down and have another conversation soon.
For sure.
Hopefully it's more of a Texas conversation next time, but
we'll see.
We'll see. Thank you so much, Danny. You have a great rest of your day, okay?
Yes, ma'am. You too.
Bye. Hook 'em.
Okay.
Hey.
That's it for today, you guys. Thank y'all so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you guys coming in and listening, watching wherever you are. Thank you so much to Danny for sitting down and answering some questions for us and really showing Longhorn Nation what he's about and giving us a little bit of insight into him, his background, and what's going on with him. I'm really excited to see where his recruitment goes, where he ends up, and we just all hope that it's going to be in Austin. Once again, thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys go and like, comment, subscribe. We love all of the support on this channel, on all of our episodes. It means everything to me for you guys to come and consistently support me. So thank you guys. Make sure you're hitting that post notification bell so you're notified every single time that I upload. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hump day. Hook 'em.